Good morning and ohayo gozaimasu. Thank you all for coming to the event today. We have a very interesting webinar talking about the state of green hydrogen, and we have some fantastic speakers. I would like very much to thank the Ministry of Environment in Japan for arranging this and providing us access to the best and brightest of Japan's technology. To start the proceedings, I'd like to introduce Mr. Suga Yoshinori, Director of Sustainable Infrastructure, Office for the Director of International Cooperation for Transition to Decarbonisation and Sustainable Infrastructure of Global Environment Bureau of the Ministry of Environment, Japan. Mr. Suga, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. And good morning, participants from ADB and developing member countries, DMCs, as well as Japan, who have interest in green hydrogen. We appreciate your participation. COP28 last year recognized the global decarbonization pathway peaking before 2025 toward net zero. In this context, hydrogen can be used as variable energy that does not create CO2 from its combustion, but also as a material that can be used for a variety of industrial purposes. Therefore, green hydrogen is very important for realizing net zero. We are seeing now a rapid increase of installed renewable energy, particularly solar PV, including in Asia. We need to consider how to stabilize the power grid with renewables. Batteries have been playing an important role so far. However, hydrogen, which enables bigger scale energy storage for a longer time, is also a key technology for the stabilization. So that is an example of expected application of hydrogen. The market size of hydrogen is also expected to rise significantly. It is critically important to work together to build a global supply chain for green hydrogen, as well as to realize local production and consumption. Japan developed a basic hydrogen strategy, and afterwards, ministries and industries have expanded domestic and overseas hydrogen application. Such experiences can be shared with other countries, including this webinar, I think. Today's webinar is the starting point. Ministry of the Environment Japan would like to collaborate with DMCs and ADB for deployment of green hydrogen, including through joint crediting mechanism, JCM. And finally, I hope that more green hydrogen projects will be implemented in the region in support of ADB. I look forward to a fruitful discussion today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Suga. You're very kind. So we will come back to you in a minute with a presentation, but just to let you know, I am going to just do a very quick presentation about what ADB is doing in green hydrogen. So please bear with me as I load this up and get slideshow to full screen. So ADB is a little bit late to the table when it comes to green hydrogen. Many of our colleagues in the multilateral development banks have done a great deal of work already. So ADB is playing catch up. And the reason we need to play catch up is that we need to meet the net zero requirements. This is a diagram from IEA that looks at the pathways to decarbonisation, and obviously each country will have their own. I was very happy to see Japan's strategy going forward, which is very dynamic, especially going into 2030. But we're looking at, figuring out what ways that we can demonstrate things, and green hydrogen has a huge component of that. You see all of these things that are looking at green hydrogen. So green hydrogen is part of the pathway to decarbonise. So what's ADB doing? Well, we're continuing our knowledge sharing information. We're doing a great deal of work in India and Bangladesh. We're doing a lot of work, and you'll hear from some of our colleagues in India in country locations we're working with. We're building a data room, and we're also engaging very closely with the International Solar Alliance, which recently set up a Green Hydrogen Innovation Centre under the auspices of the G20, and we will be more actively engaged in sharing content, including this webinar will be shared on that platform as well. So we've done quite a deal of engagement recently, and you'll see that we are out there talking to our customers and talking to our DMC partners about what is it that we can do, what is it that they want to know, what do they want to see. There are some gaps in the hydrogen space, notably about knowledge of for transport, the storage infrastructure. So there is an infrastructure supply chain issue, and there are also other issues relating to general access to technology, which I think Japan is very well placed to support going forward. So unlike some of our bigger competitors who've made very, very strong commitments to hydrogen, we're still working through with our DMCs to figure out what they want. We're seeing that there is a very strong interest for hydrogen as a decarbonisation tool. And to do that, we need to help develop, share obviously knowledge, which is today's event, getting access to information. Supporting government policy development. We're doing a great deal of that in India at the moment. Hydrogen trading platforms is work we've done. Engaging with industry associations, notably in hard to abate sectors. We're working with, like for instance, the World Cement Association and increasing our capacity to engage with other organisations. Piloting and scaling up is obviously very important, and there's some work going forward. And we are actively looking at financing large projects. We've got some in process, but unfortunately I can't go into details about them, but there is work going on in that space. We have two sort of flagship activities going on in hydrogen going forward in the next 6 months. One is the engaging with the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy with an India-based TA supporting hydrogen development and hydrogen supply chains, notably on looking at the policy and regulatory requirements. And then another activity, which is I'm project leading, which is looking at how we can decarbonise in hard to abate industrial sectors and marine transport and long distance transportation. And you'll hear from some of the Mr. Ramana Reddy, who we've been engaging with specifically on these issues recently. We also have an event which we hold yearly, which is the Asian Clean Energy Forum, which will be held in June 4 to 7 this year. And anyone who wishes to present on that, please reach out to me. We are very keen to build a very strong presentation on hydrogen and engage with a lot of very solid people speaking. As I said, today is a great panel. I'm really impressed, so I'm looking forward to hearing today's panel. We have an internal hydrogen working group, and we're looking at ways that we can accelerate it. One of the ways we think we can do this is by developing digital simulation tools for decision making in relation to hydrogen, and obviously a lot of information sharing and deal flow development. One final point I wanted to make is ADB is really looking at hydrogen in three distinct pots. One is hydrogen as a commodity, as a molecule, and these are export-focused projects typically, or they're large-scale domestic projects. They're very often focused and engaged with green ports, and they have very large ticket size. So there are select companies that can engage in these types of activities. The next issue is how green hydrogen can be a component of decarbonising hard to abate sectors of steel, cement, fertiliser, aviation fuels and marine transport, and obviously ports. So those projects tend to be more piecemeal. They tend to be technology focused, but they require integration. They require a thinking of what is it that we are going to do in this one project, which will have spillover effects to the whole supply chain. And then the final size, and we're hearing about some of this today as well, which I'm glad to see, which is looking at hydrogen as a distributed molecule and looking at those projects, whether they come from industrial waste or agricultural waste or municipal waste, how those projects fit into the supply chain going forward and where they fit into our general energy supply. One point I would like to make very clearly on this in this opening session is that hydrogen is not just about energy supply. It's not just about decarbonisation. It's also about energy security. If you can diversify your energy supply, hydrogen is a pathway to doing that, and it creates a lot more resilience to shocks. And I think we've seen recently that the shocks just keep coming. So anything you can do by deploying hydrogen, you should not discount the impact it has on energy security. So on that note, I'd like to thank everybody for inviting ADB to this event, and I look forward to handing over to Mr. Suga, who will do a presentation in relation to the activities of the MOEJ. Thank you, everybody. Mr. Suga, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. And yes, could you make it? Okay, yes. Thank you very much. And yeah, my name is Yoshinori Suga, Director for Sustainable Infrastructure. I'm from Ministry of the Environment. Today, I would like to share our ministry's green hydrogen vision and what we are doing. And hydrogen is expected to play an important role toward net zero by 2050. We recognize that CO2-free hydrogen is necessary to decarbonize the industry sector, commercial sector, household sector, and the transport sector. So we think it's very important. And the hydrogen is also an opportunity for growth. The government of Japan developed the basic hydrogen strategy, showing our direction and positioned hydrogen as an option for carbon-free energy. We are leading the hydrogen use toward a hydrogen society. So move on to the next slide, please. Yes, our basic hydrogen strategy sets the cost reduction target of hydrogen as about $3 per kilogram by 2030 and $2 by 2050. We are trying to reduce the cost to the same level as conventional energy. In terms of affordable hydrogen, we are assuming three conditions. One, inexpensive feedstock, such as unused resources or renewables. And two, large-scale supply chains. And three, mass usage. The cost of renewable energy power has been decreasing dramatically in some countries. We are considering a possibility of transport from countries that can produce hydrogen with cheap green energy. We are also prioritizing key technology development for production, transportation, storage, and use of hydrogen. Next, please. And we also set the targets for the introduction of hydrogen, including 12 million tons per year of hydrogen supply, around 15 gigawatts of water electrolyzers by 2030. Based on our technological advantages, we support for supply infrastructure development, including core technologies such as fuel cells, electrolyzers, power generation, transport materials. And another important task is to review the legislation on safety to ensure the business environment in terms of the safety regulation. So now I would like to share our development of technology for hydrogen use. There are all fuel cell application examples. FC forklift is high environmental performance and quick hydrogen refueling, and it started its commercial sales. FC bus was also put on the commercial market in 2017. We also supported R&D for FC truck, FC vessel, FC garbage trucks. All the information is on the website. Based on the basic strategy, the Ministry of the Environment is supporting demonstration projects for a whole hydrogen supply chain that use existing renewable energy resources or existing infrastructure on a local basis. Depending on the local situation, projects choose own ways of production, storage, transportation, and use. So as total, a wide range of application is demonstrated through these projects. Hydrogen also contributes to pollution reduction, industrial development, and emergency response. Here is a map of the hydrogen supply chain demonstration projects. So there are 11 projects on the map from Hokkaido in the north to Kitakyushu City in the south. But now we also have two more projects, And one is hydrogen from the wind power, and another one is hydrogen from solar PV and waste to energy. So both in Hokkaido. And this is one project example in Tomiya City, Miyagi Prefecture. Hydrogen is produced by solar power and transported and supplied to fuel cells installed at commercial store, public building, and private homes. So next, I would also like to quickly touch on our international pilot projects for green hydrogen. Our ministry is supporting 3 projects. In the production phase, we make green hydrogen in renewable energy rich countries. And in the transportation phase, we transport green hydrogen to island countries, trying several types of carrier technology. And in the use phase, we use the green hydrogen in island countries and try to replace fossil fuels. Just quickly, project 1, hydrogen is produced by surplus power in South Australia and transported using metal hydride tank and used for fuel cells in an industrial town in West Java of Indonesia. This is one. The project 2, hydrogen is produced in Queensland of Australia and transported using hydrogen absorbing alloy cassette. And the produced hydrogen is used for fuel cells in Palau, as well as fuel cell boats in Queensland. So it will be used locally. The last project, project 3, hydrogen is produced by geothermal power in New Zealand and transported to Fiji by containers and used for hydrogen mixed combustion generator. And this project will be discussed and explained in detail later by Allbios Corporation. So please wait for a minute. And next, please. This is my last slide. And I hope you understand now our strategy and some examples of our demonstration projects. And we are supporting green hydrogen project in Asian region through JCM and other schemes. So any proposals are highly welcome. So I'm looking forward to working with you for further future projects. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Suga. That was fantastic. I'm really very excited to hear about the hydrogen absorbing alloy cassette technology and metal hydride technology. I think they will have a very big impact on the supply chain. Now I'd like to call on Dr. Dang Thi Thuy Han, who is an expert within the Vietnam Petroleum Institute, VPI. Dr. Han, Dr. Dang, are you ready to present?
Yes, I share my screen now. Good morning, everyone. I would like to share with you the possibility to unlock green hydrogen in Vietnam. Firstly, I will introduce about the current status of hydrogen production and consumption in Vietnam, and then the challenges and the solution for using green hydrogen in Vietnam. About the hydrogen production in Vietnam, you can see here we produce about 5,000 tons hydrogen per year, and this hydrogen is gray hydrogen and brown hydrogen from fossil fuel, and the brown hydrogen produced from gasification of coal is produced from North Vietnam in fertilizer Hà Bắc and Ninh Bình, and the gray hydrogen is produced in refinery in Middle Vietnam, Nghi Sơn and Dung Quất refineries, and in the fertilizer plant Phú Mỹ and Cà Mau in south of Vietnam. And we also produce a very small amount of hydrogen from electrolyzer, but the electricity used is grid, is from grid, not renewable power. Hydrogen is expected to use for decarbonization in the power, in transportation, and for industry, such as steam ammonia production. And it's also expected that it will contribute to about 10 to 20% of CO2 emission reduction by 2050. And the most potential application for hydrogen is for in transportation and in industry. And in Vietnam, potential sector for hydrogen application is refinery and fertilizer. In this area, hydrogen is already used, so the infrastructure is available. And the other sector can apply hydrogen in Vietnam is for power, for transportation, and for industry as steel and cement production. And it's already a plan that hydrogen will be consumed from 2030. And in 2050, the amount of hydrogen will reach about 10 to 20 million tons per year. So as I see in the strategy, the update strategy of Japan, if we can reach the maximum of the target of our target, so it's similar to Japan. Among this sector, power and transportation will consume the most of hydrogen amount, is about 80%. To reach this plan and targets of using clean hydrogen in production and use clean hydrogen. So what is the challenges? Firstly, is the production cost. On the top left here, you can see the figure for the production cost of gray, blue, and green hydrogen. For green hydrogen, the price is still the cost is still more than 2 times in comparison with gray hydrogen. And so in Vietnam, when without the CO2 tax, so green hydrogen cannot compete with the gray hydrogen. And with the time, the production cost will be can be reduced until about 2040. The price is can be similar. The price of green hydrogen can be similar to the traditional hydrogen. However, when we want to develop the hydrogen markets, not only the production cost of hydrogen should be considered, but also the transport cost or logistic cost. And the logistic cost even more difficult to reduce in comparison with the cost of the production cost. The other challenges is limited infrastructure and immature and use technology and insufficient policy. So if you want to develop hydrogen economy or hydrogen market, so it's required infrastructure for storage, for transport, and for distribution. And of course, it required investment. So cluster and hub can help to reduce the investment, because in cluster and in hub, the hydrogen producer and consumer is near each other, so it can reduce the cost of transport and distribution. And for the end use, so most of hydrogen application is now in the state of pilot demonstration. And for the producer, when they apply hydrogen, investment for infrastructure, for everything will be increased. Policy is also a very important factor for develop hydrogen market, and we are lacking a hydrogen policy for the whole value chain of hydrogen, and lack of the standards. So it's necessary to establish a full value chain of hydrogen, including production, storage, transportation, and distribution and use. Overcome these challenges. The solution for Vietnam, the trend to overcome these challenges is, firstly, for the cost gap, we can narrow the cost by increase the production capacity. In 2021, the amount of clean hydrogen produced is small, and to get the target, we need to increase the capacity about more than 500 times by 2030. We also need to for the application in other sector, we need to incentivize the demand of hydrogen, of green hydrogen, to drive the technological improvement. It seems that electrolysis is promising technology, because the electrolyzer cost can be reduced. It's expected to reduce about 80% by 2030, and the new technology with low cost, with lower OPEX and CAPEX, such as AEM electrolyzers, is becoming successful. And for the small and medium scale, we can consider about the technology of the new technology, such as cracking ammonia or pyrolysis of the methane. And for other challenges, we can use solutions such as we need to build the infrastructure to develop the value chain of hydrogen at a large scale. We should advance the end-use technology to accelerate the hydrogen consumption, and develop the supportive policies to promote application of hydrogen in sectors. And for the policy, for the supportive policy, we should think we should put the hydrogen into national master plan and strategy to establish the legal framework for hydrogen investment. And also we should develop the policy to encourage investment with the incentive in renewable energy access, using land use and tax. And we should plan for the subsidy to the value chain of hydrogen. And for we should have a roadmap for the applying hydrogen in the sector, and for the apply an environment regulation. And carbon pricing is the crucial factor to increase the hydrogen demand, and to help to reduce to make green hydrogen competitive with fossil derived hydrogen. And in Vietnam, we start first step to develop the policy system to support the hydrogen market. And firstly, I mean that besides the National Master Energy Plan and other national plan and strategy, in February this year, the Prime Minister issued the strategy of hydrogen, and the strategy set out the target on production and for use of hydrogen for storage, transport, and distribution, and for export. Regarding production, the target hydrogen is green and blue hydrogen, and the amount is about 100 to 500,000 tons per year by 2030. So as I said, as I mentioned before, by 2050, it's about 10 to 20 million tons per year of hydrogen. And inside of Vietnam, we plan to use this green hydrogen for power generation, for industry, and for transportation. And at the period of until 2030, we developed the pilot scale, and for the period up to 2050, we try to form and develop the market for consuming the energy from hydrogen. And we try to reach about 10% share of end-use energy consumption from hydrogen. We also, by 2030, we try to use the existing energy infrastructure for hydrogen, and we will pilot the facility for manufacturing equipment for distribution system. And until 2050, we try to complete the infrastructure system and expand the distribution system. The export will be the export of clean hydrogen produced in Vietnam is also our target, because that's the price of hydrogen is still very high, and even we wait for the reduce from the we were waiting for the cost reduce of hydrogen, but so Vietnam is a developing country, so when the economic and technical factor is not affordable, so it's difficult for us to use it in Vietnam, and so we expected that we can produce and export in the region. To reach this target, we have a solution for policy, for investment and finance, for science and technology, for development of human resource, for environmental protection and sustainable development. and for international cooperation. And the last but not least is for the communication activity to make the people in country understand about the new industry. So it's what I want to share with you today. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Dung. Have you finished?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I actually have a copy of that 7th February presentation. And one of the things that I found very, very interesting is that energy security is mentioned 7 times in 6 pages or 7 pages. So energy security is a very important part of that. Please be assured we're very happy to support you in all of your objectives, especially knowledge sharing, and you're doing the right things. So that's a very good roundup of Vietnam's activities. So thank you, ma'am. I'm going to hand over now to my friend, Mr. Ramana Reddy, who until a few days ago was the chairman and managing director of the New and Renewable Energy Development Corporation of Andhra Pradesh, UNREDCAP, which is the government of Andhra Pradesh in India. And Mr. Ramana Reddy is going to talk about green hydrogen needs and the National Green Hydrogen Mission in India. Mr. Ramana Reddy, are you online? There you are. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, very good morning.
Thank you for joining us so early in the morning.
Thank you very much for the nice presentation on the green hydrogen, which is a promising area for every one of us to discuss and to move towards net zero goals all over the world. So to begin with, all over the world, every country has set the target of net zero emission economy. As a part of this, India has also set the target of net zero emission by 2070. So even Government of India has announced the National Green Hydrogen Mission to support all kind of green hydrogen production activities, and also to develop a kind of ecosystem in all its related aspects. Like, for example, not only green hydrogen production, we have to even have component manufacturing, fuel cell manufacturing, as well as its associated parts. So towards this end, in Government of Andhra Pradesh, in collaboration with the National Thermal Power Corporation as a PSU of Government of India, Government of AP is coming up with a huge hydrogen manufacturing park in Visakhapatnam, which is just 30 minutes drive from Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. So there we have already allocated a land. So there, in collaboration with the NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation, a Government of India PSU, Government of AP is coming up with a huge park. So the facilities in the park will be the generation of green hydrogen and the generation of fuel cell and electrolyzer manufacturing, all its cylinders manufacturing. It is a kind of first of its kind hydrogen park manufacturing ecosystem in the world itself. It's supposed to be, once it is developed in full scale, it will be the world's biggest hydrogen ecosystem once it is in full shape. So that is the one aspect where Government of AP is giving utmost priority for green hydrogen generation and its components, and also including some scale of R&D also. So apart from this, green hydrogen requires huge amount of renewable energy. So we need to have a surplus renewable energy, which should be available round the clock. Towards the end, the Government of AP has already announced the policy of renewable energy export policy, as well as the green hydrogen, green ammonia policy, to support investors to set up their solar power plants, wind power plants, and also energy storage power plants. Because ultimately, if you want to supply round the clock renewable energy, you need to have a storage mechanism. So right now, the long duration storage, which is established practice or technology, stabilized technology, is pumped hydro storage. So as a part of this, AP, Government of AP is promoting pumped hydro storage to a great extent. And we have identified more than 42 gigawatt potential of pumped hydro storage projects in Andhra Pradesh. And we are making a detailed project reports, and also we are entering into construction phase for some of the projects. That is one area. So solar projects, we are already allocating land, and wind power plants, we are allocating the lands, and also pumped hydro storage. With all this combination, solar plus wind plus pumped hydro storage, so we will be able to supply round the clock renewable energy, so that whatever the hydrogen generation plants being set up by different investors, so they can run 24/7, so that ultimately the power that hydrogen cost per kg will be brought down. So the target set up by some of the corporates in India is, so we want to bring it to less than $1. Right now it is around $3 to $4 in between the cost of green hydrogen. So once we bring down the cost so that we can achieve the parity. So right now, whatever the gray hydrogen, blue hydrogen, it is around $1.5. So if you want to promote green hydrogen usage and ultimately to move towards net zero emission economy, so ultimately that cost has to come down. So then only the industries and people who are using right now traditional hydrogen, that is what gray hydrogen or blue hydrogen, will gradually move into usage of green hydrogen. So that is a very initial kind of innovative motivation factor. Once cost is on parity, then automatically technology will come in and people will start using this green hydrogen. So that is one area. And another area is our low-hanging fruits, like what Mr. Earlier speaker said. So these are refineries are there in domestically, and steel plants are there, cement plants are there, and there are many other industries where they are using hydrogen as one of the input in the production process. That is our primary target. And secondary target next is usage of green hydrogen for transportation sector with FCEV vehicles. So that is another area where we are targeting. Recently, Government of India has also given a very big financial outlay of almost 19,000 crores Indian national rupees for supporting these green hydrogen activities. And also they are giving a pilot on pilot basis for doing some experiments in aviation, shipping fuels, and also long duration transport, especially mobility sector. So that is one area where there is a huge amount of pollutions are coming out of this sector. So these are the two sectors we are targeting, apart from power generation side also. So now all over the world, people are talking co-firing of green hydrogen with other gases like CNG and other gas-based power plants. So once that is established and stabilized, then gradually we'll move into the generation side also. So when we are able to generate power through this hydrogen blended CNG or hydrogen blended other gases forms, then gradually from generation side also we can bring down the pollution levels. Apart from this whatever the green hydrogen production directly by using renewables. So these are the two areas we are targeting, and ultimately once these are achieved, so whatever hydrogen being generated, in the first phase we will use for using as one of the industrial inputs like refineries, steel plants, and also this other chemical industries. Next target will be gradually developing fuel cell electric vehicles. So to begin with road transportation, then gradually moving on to shipping area. That is one area where we are targeting, where there is huge opportunities there. So these are the domestic developments what we are thinking. In addition to this, because we have 24/7 availability of green power, that means we have sunlight of 360 days sunlight in India. So that by that way we can generate a solar power, surplus solar power, and we can also use pumped storage project to store it, and so that we are able to supply around the clock renewable energy. And also we have along the coastline and the shipping facilities, loading and unloading facilities are there, port-based facilities. So we are also targeting to generate surplus green hydrogen and exporting it to different needy countries on global scale. So towards this end, recently ADB has organized one very good seminar in Visakhapatnam, especially targeting port-led economy and port-led growth, green growth. So that was very good initiative taken up by ADB. Being organizing that in Visakhapatnam is a very good choice, because in Visakhapatnam we have a very good big shipyard is there, and refineries are there, steel plants are there, and also we are developing world biggest green hydrogen manufacturing ecosystem in the Visakhapatnam, near Visakhapatnam. So that's why ADB has chosen that was the right choice. So with all these developments, there is a huge buzz in the sector, especially in India. So different states are taking their own initiatives for promoting green hydrogen generation and usage in the domestic market, and also part of the hydrogen will be exported by using this whatever the liquid handling facilities available. Apart from this, we are also working with ADB for developing some pilot project to develop completely greenfield port facility, where whatever the excess hydrogen we are generating, that will be exported for needy countries. So these are some of the interesting developments happening in India, and I would like to work with all these expert people, and whatever the presentation I heard from Japanese government, and also those are very interesting, having 4 clips with FCV, having internal transportation also with FCV kind of things. Once these are popularized and comes into the market, and ultimately once the cost is almost near to the parity, then people will start purchasing all these kind of vehicles, and this will take on in a big way. Ultimately, will move together. Will move into towards decarbonization and achieving our net zero goals. So thank you, Peters, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, ADB.
Thank you, Mr. Romano Reddy. I'm just actually going to share one photograph from that event, which was very well received, and you'll see that that's you in the middle. But the important thing is the title of the growth. And what we found was that Vizag, which is the short name for Visakhapatnam, has a large amount of industry. It has cement, steel, fertilizers, aviation, marine industries, shipping. It's got everything. So the things that we're looking at in driving the hydrogen agenda are very well suited to the work in Vizag. And I wanted to thank you for your support on that. So on that, sir, I'm going to hand over. We're going to run a video now from Mr. Patrick T. Aquino, who is the Director of Energy Utilization Management Bureau, EUMB, which is under the Philippines Department of Energy. Mr. Aquino can't make it to this session this morning, but he may join us for Q&A after this. So could we load up Mr. Aquino's presentation, please?
Allow me to present the perspectives and initiatives of the Philippine Department of Energy on hydrogen as an alternative fuel. We published the latest Philippine Energy Plan 2023-2050, outlining key strategies and objectives to guide our energy development. To achieve a more sustainable low-carbon energy future, the plan considers hydrogen as one of the alternative fuels. Shown in the slide, the utilization of hydrogen in the energy sector can support the achievement of the ARC objectives outlined in the plan. Key points include access to affordable energy, reliability and resiliency, and clean and sustainable energy. In 2022, the total primary energy supply surged to 61.6 million tons of oil equivalent, increasing by 4.7% from the prior year. This is divided into indigenous and net imported, accounting for 49.4% and 50.6% respectively. Notably, oil surpassed coal to become the country's predominant energy source, comprising 32.2%, compared to coal's 31% share. The combined renewable energy supply includes biofuels, accounted for 32.6%, marking a 3.3% increase from the previous year. Levels rose from 19.4 million tons of oil equivalent to 20 million tons of oil equivalent for the period. Additionally, increasing renewable energy share to 50% by 2040 and to more than 50% by 2050 requires additional renewable energy capacities in the reference and clean energy scenarios, creating an opportunity for emerging technologies such as hydrogen and its derivatives to serve as an alternative energy for storage and fuel, thus stabilizing and making variable renewable energy sources like solar and wind more stable and reliable. In terms of consumption, in 2022, it increased by 2.4%, reaching 35.9 million tons of oil equivalent. The transport sector led in its consumption, accounting for 34.4%, followed by households at 28.8% and industry at 19.8%. When it comes to energy consumption by fuel, oil claimed the majority share at 18.3 MTOE or 50.9%, followed by electricity, biomass, coal, and biofuels. As we are focused on pursuing an energy transition by integrating low-carbon fuels and advanced technologies to diversify our energy mix and reduce greenhouse gas emissions, the utilization of hydrogen carries significant implications for our energy landscape, economic development, and environmental sustainability. We recognize hydrogen's role in the energy transition, and we have outlined it in our strategic roadmap for hydrogen and its derivatives, indicating for policy and research development, wherein there is an evaluation of cost-effective, low-carbon energy sources and carriers focusing on transport and power generation. Establishment of the national policy framework, making sure to accelerate the implementation of hydrogen-related plans and programs, institutionalize development partnerships to provide valuable insights connected to technical readiness, implementation costs, and partnership approaches for advancing hydrogen initiatives. Infrastructure support development for private sector investments, facilitating the construction of essential infrastructures across the entire value chain of hydrogen production, storage, transport, distribution, and utilization. Along these lines, we promote and prefer green hydrogen, which utilizes renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, or hydroelectric to produce hydrogen through processes like electrolysis. In February, we issued the Department Circular known as the Hydrogen Energy Guidelines, providing the national and policy framework, roadmap, and guideline of hydrogen in the energy sector. This includes the core principles for energy security, environmental sustainability, research and development, and access to financing. The guidelines cover a wide range of hydrogen-related activities, encompassing establishment, construction, operation, maintenance, decommissioning, and disposal. It emphasizes that guidelines for the exploration, development, and production of native hydrogen is administered through the Energy Resource Development Bureau following the provisions of Presidential Decree No. 87 and its corresponding rules and regulations. Key provisions cover various facets of the hydrogen energy value chain, including production, transportation, distribution, storage, utilization, import, and export. Notably, there is emphasis for the preference for renewable energy source or green hydrogen production, categorizing them as renewable energy projects. Any person or entity, natural or juridical, intending to engage in any hydrogen energy industry activity shall file a notice with the Energy Utilization Management Bureau prior to any such activity on a per-project basis. The guideline provides the procedure for the issuance of the acknowledgement letter as well as the certificate for Board of Investment endorsement. The guideline outlines fiscal and non-fiscal incentives for hydrogen energy projects under 4 key legislations. Those producing green hydrogen for power generation may avail of incentives under the Renewable Energy Act of 2008. Electric Vehicle Industry Development Act provides incentives for hydrogen energy projects for the transport sector. Projects involving hydrogen production from nuclear energy qualify for incentives under the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act. Companies engaged in research, infrastructure, and machinery production using hydrogen can benefit from incentives under the CREATE Act. The success of hydrogen energy programs and initiatives relies on public support and understanding. We are committed to achieving this by effectively informing and educating as well as communicating fundamental components of our initiatives. This involves forming partnerships with stakeholders to enhance understanding and support for the guidelines. Once again, the guidelines affirms the DOE's commitment to reducing the country's reliance on fossil fuels, propelling towards a more sustainable and resilient energy future. We are dedicated to fostering collaboration, innovation, and strategic planning to drive the growth of the hydrogen energy industry in the Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation, Mr. Aquino. Hopefully you join us a little bit later. We have a few minutes now to have some Q&A. We've got about 8 minutes for questions and answers. And I'm wondering if anybody has any questions. There is one question in the Q&A from my colleague, David Morgado, specifically for Dr. Dung. And she says, Vietnam has just released its hydrogen development strategy, which we talked about. When is it likely that green hydrogen will be available for upcoming gas power plant projects in Vietnam? And have any gas power plants been prioritized? Dr. Dung, I'm not sure if you can answer that question, but perhaps you can just talk to it for a little while. Dr. Dung, you there?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Steve Peter.
No problem.
Yeah. In the hydrogen strategy, which showed that the amount of hydrogen produced, the amount of green hydrogen produced, and it is planned to use for power generation, for transportation, and for industry. But in the time, we have not planned that in detail, but according to the PDP, the hydrogen is planned to for use for co-firing with natural gas and liquid natural gas in the gas-fired power plant, and this will be applied from the period from 2035 to 2040. And then the gas-fired power plant will switch to use 100% of hydrogen from 2045 and 2050. But also in the PDP8, it was noted that hydrogen can be used for power generation in case that economic and technical condition will be met. That means that if not, so no, that is an option, and we find another option in case that that condition, we cannot meet this condition.
Okay, it's interesting that so many of the DMCs, ADB's DMCs, haven't given very serious thought to and put strategies forward. And the status is that they know where they want to be working. They understand pretty much where the objectives are. There will be some things that will come up from time to time. And generally speaking, and we're seeing this with our engagement with World Bank as well, that these types of projects are identified as lighthouse projects. There might be one or two big projects which will be driven from, say, one large production facility, which may be for export or for a very captive industry. And it's those projects are the ones that the learning is going on. They're getting subsidies from government, both central and state, but there's still this issue with the cost of hydrogen and the cost of green hydrogen being significantly higher. And I think everybody has recognized that and recognized that if we want to move in this direction, we need to incentivize or provide not only subsidies, but also forms of blended finance and risk reduction and access to markets and to support those companies. So there's a lot of work going on in that. I know the Green Hydrogen Organization is working on that also. Do we have any other questions? Well, we are exactly on time. So the end of Q&A, we will have a short 10-minute break, and then we will come back in 10 minutes for a presentation by Ms. Sudha Hiromi from Tsumbame BHP company, which has distributed ammonia and low carbon fertilizer production using green hydrogen. That will be in 10 minutes. So thank you, everyone. You might want to go and get yourself a cup of coffee, which is what I'm going to do, or have a break, and we'll see you in 10 minutes. Thank you, and we can hand over. So I'd like to introduce Ms. Sudha Hiromi, who is the Asia Pacific and Africa Marketing Manager for Tsubame BHB Co Limited, and she's going to talk to us about distributed ammonia and low carbon fertilizer production utilizing green hydrogen. Ms. Suda, are you ready to go?
Yes. Thank you for your introduction.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Hiromi from Tsubame BHB. Thank you very much for today's opportunity to present our company and projects we are now developing in Asia Pacific region. So today I would like to present about the distributed ammonia and low carbon fertilizer production using the green hydrogen. Okay. So before I go to the project, I would like to explain about a little bit about our company profile. We are climate tech, born from the Tokyo Institute of Technology. There are three keywords to describe our company. One, we are the climate tech. And the second, we have an innovative ammonia synthesis catalyst called the electrolyte catalyst. Using this catalyst, we are now deploying the small-scale distributed ammonia production systems. So this is the gentleman, here we have a gentleman, picture of the gentleman. He is the Professor Hosono, Emeritus Hideo Hosono. His invention of the ammonia catalyst, synthesis catalyst, is our core technology. And these are our major stockholders, and we have just closed our Series C2 fundraising the last month. Okay. So our company has a vision to decarbonize the ammonia industry and realize the food security and also the, energy security at the same time. Okay. So this is our product and services. We have a very small scale ammonia synthesis module in this picture, and our core technology electrolyte catalyst is actually loaded in this reactor. So this is our solution, and we have a range of 500 tons per year, 3,000 and 5,000 tons per year. This is the capacity of our lineup, and what we offer is using this small-scale distributed ammonia synthesis module. We offer the on-site and on-demand production of ammonia and transportation and storage cost reduction. And as you can see, this our plant, our module is actually prefabricated and delivered to your client sites. So it's easy installation. And lastly, but not least, we can offer this effective utilization of distributed or surplus energy. So now in the discussion of the green hydrogen value chain development, it is actually like focused on the energy source. So which means that the large scale production and large scale transportation, large scale consumption. However, in the most of the countries, they have some. There are some countries which has a rich renewable energy source, but some countries they are not. So our solution would be the benefits that we can offer is for those countries, especially the DMCs, which has less, renewable energy source, and also this small scale, the small scale distributed renewable energy source. And so using this small scale ammonia production system, what we are now developing is the low carbon fertilizer production. As you can see this, our project is using this renewable energy and to produce the green hydrogen, as you have already known. And then we synthesize this green hydrogen with the nitrogen from the air to produce the green ammonia. And transform this green ammonia with the local resources, for example, like such sulfuric acid, which is available in whatever sources that which are available in the region or in your country, and then produce the low carbon fertilizer. This is the project that we are now developing in the APAC region. So with this project, we would like to bring the impact of the 85% CO2 emission reductions compared with the imported, the ureas. So our target countries are the countries which also produces fertilizer from the gray hydrogen, but also those countries which imports fertilizer from the other countries, because they do not produce any hydrogen, any green hydrogen or gray hydrogen or fertilizer itself. So this is the impact that we would like to bring. So I would just like to share the news that we have already signed the LOI on the low carbon fertilizer offtake agreement with our business partners in Laupilier. So this is the picture of the signing ceremony, which was conducted in the end of last year. And so our business development and dialogues with the potential partners are very wide in the worldwide. So I'm looking for the detailed discussion with the players, key players in India, Vietnam, and Philippines, so that we can develop this project together. Okay, so yes, we are looking for the partners from your countries, especially for the electrolyzer manufacturer, or also we'd like to talk with a renewable energy developer or maybe green hydrogen project developer, EPC companies, and also fertilizer companies, so that we can transform the green hydrogen to ammonia so that they can consume the green ammonia for their feedstock. And also we are expecting the policy backup and also the green finance from the international financial institutions as well. So this is the end of my presentation. But before that, I would like to show, maybe this presentation will be distributed after this seminar. Please come and visit our website to visit our pilot plant video tour, and also you can look at our small scale ammonia production module, 3D models. Okay. So thank you very much for your time, for your listening.
Miss Suda, how long is the video?
The video is about maybe 5 minutes. So,
do you want to play it? I really, I think I'm really impressed. I'm sitting here going, wow, this is fantastic. I'd love to see that video.
Okay, thank you. Let me try.
While you're doing that, I was just going to say there are a number of applications for this. And we have a limited number of attendees on this call, but this video will be widely circulated. I think you'll find you'll get quite a lot of interest. And I'd like to go play. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Tsubame BHP is an ammonia synthesis technology company providing small-scale on-site green ammonia production systems. Our system makes it possible to localize green ammonia production using renewable energy, and we are striving to decarbonize the ammonia industry. 190 million tons of ammonia is produced annually, and more than 80% is utilized in fertilizer production. Ammonia is now drawing enormous attention from the world as a CO2-free fuel for power generation, maritime shipping, and can be stored as an alternative energy source. Our core technology is the electride catalyst and its dedicated engineering process. The electride catalyst is an innovative technology by the Tokyo Institute of Technology, which enables ammonia synthesis at lower temperatures and pressure compared to the conventional process. Our pilot plant was established at the end of 2019 to verify the performance of our catalyst and process. We successfully scaled up from the experimental phase to the pilot phase, and our pilot plant has been in operation for over 3 years. It is located at the factory of our major stockholder, Ajinomoto, in Kawasaki City. The plant comprises of a hydrogen electrolyzer, a nitrogen generation system, compressors, a heater, heat exchangers, vessels, and reactors loaded with our electride catalyst. This is how liquid ammonia is produced. Each piece of our equipment is designed for the lower pressure and temperature required by our catalyst. Our operators monitor plant operation from the control room 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Ammonia production has been centralized around fossil fuel sources for more than 100 years. Therefore, its high transportation and storage costs were a burden for consumers at the end of the supply chain. Our ammonia synthesis system enables on-site ammonia production anywhere that demand for nitrogen fertilizer exists. Currently, ammonia is produced from fossil fuel, therefore emitting large amounts of CO2, which accounts for 1 to 2% of the world's total emissions. The ammonia industry is now shifting towards CO2-free ammonia production, including green ammonia made with renewable energy. Our small-scale on-site ammonia system makes it possible to localize green ammonia production. Thanks to this 3-year verification at the pilot plant, Tsubame BHB received its first commercial plant order in December 2022. The first plant is scheduled to start commercial operation in 2025. Meanwhile, newly developed versions of the electride catalyst are awaiting evaluation. Tsubame BHB is proactively refining our electride catalyst and dedicated process in order to bring innovation to the ammonia industry. Tsubame BHB is striving to decarbonize the world's ammonia industry by making it possible to localize green ammonia production using renewable energy in order to pass on a sustainable planet to future generations.
Wow. I've only got one thing to say, Ms. Suda.
Yes.
Have you thought about using this to produce ammonia as a transport fuel in shipping?
Yes, we have already discussed a lot, but at the moment we are now developing at the stage of the development of the new catalyst, new generation catalyst. If it is successful, we can also produce the large scale production so that we can transport for the green hydrogen to anywhere.
I'm going to hand over to the next speaker, but I just wanted to follow up with this because I'm quite excited about your technology. We just recently completed a study looking at marine renewable energy, and you'll see the photo in the background, which is in the Marshall Islands, which was part of that. And there's a significant opportunity to do marine renewables to ammonia for shipping, especially in the Marshalls, because it's the center of the North Pacific fishing fleet. So very interesting space you're in. There's a lot of growth potential there. So thank you very much. That was outstanding. So now it's my great pleasure to now hand over to Mr. Suzuki Tatsunari, who is the CEO and founder of Alchemist Materials. And Mr. Suzuki is going to talk about decentralized equipment to convert waste into green hydrogen. I'm looking forward to this one too. Thank you, sir. Floor is yours.
So we are Alchemist Material. I'm CEO of this company. I thank for this opportunity to present our project to change the world. So this is a picture of one of hundreds of the polluted rivers in South Asian countries. It is a pretty shocking view, but this river is not special. It's an everyday scene. Yet this picture made me to start this venture. So there are big problems on the earth. The waste issue, which I just described. Japan has decent system to incinerate the waste. However, the most of the developing countries do not have it and just keep dumping waste. And another big issue is climate change caused by the greenhouse gas. We need to act now to hand this planet to our next generation. However, it is very expensive to deal with those problems until this moment. For example, incineration requires not only the big capital, but operation cost. The solar power generation didn't make any sense at some countries because of the short shining times and high maintenance cost. The solution is converting waste into green hydrogen and greenhouse gas credit by decentralized equipment. Then our customers can obtain hydrogen with 1/3 of the current cost. New idea is cut distribution cost and energy by decentralized hydrogen production. Localization is a keyword here. Currently, most of the hydrogen is produced at centralized big plant and get distributed by using big energy. The problem of the current system is the cost for the distribution of hydrogen, which is more expensive than the production cost of the hydrogen. The new idea is the cutting the cost of the logistics by decentralized system. Yes, we deliver the decentralized system to where the hydrogen consumed or where those wastes exist. Our business model consists of those three parts. The equipment sales, followed by spare parts sales and field service. And then we utilize the real data coming out from the equipment for issuing the proof of recycling and the generation of the greenhouse gas credit. That base technology was invented more than 20 years ago by a major Japanese company. We add the cutting-edge equipment technology in the Silicon Valley. The unique chamber design brings low heat loss, high response control, uniform reaction within the chambers, high durability, low cost materials, easy maintenance. In addition to those hardware technologies, we have patented IT technology that generates trustable carbon credit by real gasification data. The members, I'm Suzuki. I'm a serial entrepreneur in the climate tech industry. I initiated fuel cell research project Intel Corporation. Then the project spun out. Then I served as CEO for 10 years. Actually, I originally belonged to the automobile industry. And Mr. Saito, he was engaged in the environment and energy business at NEC. He led the development of energy management system for overseas market. Ishikawa, he was an applied fellow at Applied Material and led the development of semiconductor equipment. James, he is also a serial entrepreneur with successful track record of commercializing the gas-related equipment. He used to work at Bharat Power to develop the hydrogen fuel cell. And in addition to the founders, we have very strong advisory boards. Dan Maiden, he was the president of Applied Material. And Dr. Nishi is a faculty at Stanford. And Stephen is lawyer in Singapore. The Kelly was VP of Lyft. Then she served as the president of Toyota Research Institute. So she knows the future of the mobility. Target customers. We have wide potential customer base. Locality in Asia. South Asian countries do not have incinerator yet and keep just dumping those waste. They need the system that make the waste management as the profitable business. And e-commerce warehouse, for example, Amazon, Walmart, Nike. So they operate thousands of the hydrogen forklift in their facility. They need hydrogen. Now, of course, the hydrogen stations, but the hydrogen delivery cost to the station is too expensive now. They need affordable green hydrogen. And any factory that generate industrial waste. So this is our pilot project in Indonesia. We have LOI with this major industrial park. So this project insists to convert industrial waste into low purity hydrogen, then utilize that low purity hydrogen for internal combustion engine generator. Then the electricity is utilized for the green data center. As you know, the AI is becoming another source of the concern. AI consumes huge amount of energy. So we expect new regulation coming for power source of the data center. Yeah, we need to prepare for it. So we observe 3 tailwinds now. So greenhouse gas credit in Indonesia is becoming formal. And EPR, extended producer responsibility. The several countries set in the new regulation which forces product producer to be responsible for recycling. And new technology, which is membrane. The membrane gas separation system has been commercialized recently. It would reduce cost of gas separation in 3 years. So this illustration represents how we conduct business. Instead of incinerator, which need capital and operation cost for dealing with the waste, the local cities can produce electricity for microgrid and greenhouse gas credit for earning cash. Our potential customers can make money from waste, as you can see in this chart. And technology comparison. On the very right-hand side, you can see a lot of green light. So we have many advantages against the other processes. So this is big picture of our business proposal. The procedure is pretty simple. The first, investors give debt finance to local city in Indonesia or South Asian countries. And Alchemist Material deliver the equipment to the local cities. The World Horenso, which is our partner in Indonesia, educates and train students at industrial high school in Indonesia. Then those new local graduates will work on field service for our project. Then the local cities convert waste into local green energy and greenhouse gas credit. And then we trade the greenhouse gas credit for those customers. Then the local cities receive cash from foreign entities and pay back the debt. Objectives: reduce ocean plastic, reduce greenhouse gas, include carbon dioxide and methane, reduce smoke pollution from burning agricultural waste, jobs for young people, one step forward for hydrogen society. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Mr. Suzuki. I think you're on the right track. in terms of what your business model is, I think the decentralized business model makes a lot of sense. The structure of how that would work probably is worth a discussion. We can have a chat to you about that, but I was very impressed. So I wish you all the best of luck with your activities. So next presentation will be by Mr. Hiroki Kobayashi, who is the Vice President of Business Development at IHI Corporation HQ and is concurrently the CEO of IHI Asia Pacific. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Stephen, for your kind introduction. Hello, everyone. Let me share. Hello again. So thank you very much for today. My name is Hiroki Kobayashi, and I'm the Vice President of Business Development Headquarters IHI Corporation, and also concurrently CEO of Asia Pacific, IHI Asia Pacific, located in Singapore. I'm very happy to be here today, presenting our group effort to build a clean ammonia value chain. Clean means green and green, green and blue. Let me touch before starting our presentation. Who is IHI? IHI started 170 years ago. Last year we celebrated our anniversary of 170 years. It was 1853, when the Commander Matthew Perry of the United States led the fleet of ships to Japan. Sorry, everyone. Let me start again. I'd like to touch about who is IHI. So next, please, page, please. We started our company in 1853, 170 years ago. We started our business from shipyard building. So after the shipyard starting, we diversified our business. And during this 170 years ago, 70 years, we delivered many products and services over the world. Next, please. So this is our 4 business pillar current business. One is the resource, energy, and environment business. We provide the power product, power generation product, and chemical plant. So you will see now why we are now actually working for ammonia value chain. It's part of the green hydrogen, because I believe we are responsible to reduce the CO2 carbon dioxide, because during this 170 years our business, we contribute infrastructure development, but that's also the part of the CO2, the reason of the CO2. The different the business is industrial system, including turbocharger, vehicle turbocharger, and the next one is the social infrastructure, constructing the building or tunnel system. The last one, but at least, is the jet engines for aviations. So you will see the many of our products or services. Last 170 years, we contribute the development of our society and the infrastructure and partner business. But again, our product is the contribute also the CO2 emission globally. So we believe we should be deeply responsible to reduce CO2 carbon footprint. So today I'd like to introduce our activity. We see reducing the temporal and geographical mismatch between supply of renewable energy and demand. You see from this map, the red or orange area have a renewable, but demand is different place. So decarbonized fuel is needed to transport renewable energy to the demand areas. So now we're in Japan, but you see less renewable energy produced in Japan, but that's why we have to transport renewable energy to the demanded areas. And IHI has been focusing on clean fuel ammonia as a hydrogen carrier and direct use in utilization. While many are friends here to introduce the hydrogen development today, but IHI has been focusing clean fuel ammonia. Next, please. So this is our clean ammonia value chain. As I explained earlier, IHI have been provide many products and services, basically downstream side. That means utilization technology. You will see in the right hand side power, including gas turbine, boilers, marine, of course, the vessel, and industry use for fertilizer. Those are we call downstream. And from the right to left, IHI working for transportation and storage of clean ammonia and also production of clean ammonia. So IHI try to cover a wide range of development activity to build a clean ammonia value chain, including production of the ammonia. Our new technology developing is ammonia direct synthesis. We are developing this technology for the future efficient ammonia creation. And we're also focusing transportation and storage of the big volume for clean ammonia. And the utilization side, we are professional for boiler, gas turbines, and the intercombustion engines, package boilers, industrial furnaces. So we now are focusing to develop the technology using clean ammonia for those applications. And of course, we see the ammonia as the potential decarbonized fuel, but we see that the safety issue from this new decarbonized fuel is the key. So we are very much focusing the standardization of safe use of this ammonia. Next, please. So this is our development. This is about our downstream technology. From the top, for industrial use, we already developed a small gas turbine, 100% ammonia direct combustion technology, and also furnaces for industrial use and ammonia engines. In the middle, maritime and storage, we are working for maritime engine and ammonia fuel vessel and the large-scale storage for ammonia. Last is power. We heavily work for this technology. One is boiler, and one is the gas turbine technology. For this gas turbine technology, we already announced that our collaboration with General Electric, GE, and we are developing the big scale of the gas turbine using ammonia direct combustion, aiming at the commercialization. And for the boiler, we are working with Japanese biggest utility named JERA to convert their coal-fired power plant to co-combustioning power plant together with ammonia. So you see this, the red area, small gas turbine, ammonia fuel vessel, gas engines, and boilers. These are the plan to going to be implementation demonstration operation this year under the Green Innovation Fund from NEDO. So this year, very important for IHI to commence this demonstration plan operation for 3 technology, and those results should be shared with the people who are interested in ammonia utilization. So next, please. So this is about clean ammonia production. We are working in globally, especially focusing the Asia Pacific regions. And we have many discussions with the potential partners who are interested in create the green ammonia. So again, this is the production side. And after the production of this green ammonia, we need to transport those to the demand regions. So we are discussing many partners not only the production, but also the offtake volume for the green ammonia. Could you go to next, please? So this is the specific, the case that we announcing in our homepage. This is the green ammonia production term sheet agreement with Indian renewable energy company called ACME. So this is the latest our information announced just to January. We are discussing this ACME about 400,000 tons of green ammonia to be produced 2028. So we are talking only 4 years or 5 years to produce this green ammonia to be imported the area who looking for the green hydrogen or green ammonia. So next, please. The other one is the UAE. We are working with Emirates National Oil Company, also about green ammonia. We are studying the competitive green ammonia production, technically and commercially. So from this discussion, from the potential ammonia production countries, we now covering the region of Asia Pacific to introduce our green ammonia for many applications. And again, not only production, but not only utilization, we are very much focused also for transportation and storage and distributions. IHI have been working for infrastructure last 170 years. So we know to introduce this new fuel, we have to cover the whole value chain. We have to provide the necessary infrastructure. So this is another agreement with called Vopak, Royal Vopak, Dutch company. They are special for ammonia tank and the distribution. So we are discussing with them also for the potential storage and the distribution of the ammonia in Japan and outside Japan as well. So through this discussion, not only IHI alone, we are working with many partners to aim the creation of the new clean ammonia value chain, especially covering this Asia Pacific regions. Because in this Asia Pacific region, we see the many potential ammonia production from renewable, and also the many countries demanding the clean energy, where not much renewable energy resource isn't seen. So we should connect those demand production through our technology and partnership. Next, please. So this is my end of the presentation. Thank you very much for your attention, and we will update our further development in our website. So please contact me whenever you are interested in our development. I'm sitting in Singapore. So see you soon again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kobayashi. That was excellent. We look forward to hearing more about your large-scale projects and your outsized influence on this this particular segment. So our next speaker is Dr. Namiko Moriyama from ThyssenKrupp Nucera, Japan. I'm looking forward to hearing Dr. Namiko. This is the third time that I've actually heard her present. So I look forward to your presentation. The floor's yours.
Thank you very much. Could you hear my voice well?
Yes, very well.
Okay, I'd like to start my presentation. First of all, thank you for your kind introduction, Stephen, and then thank you for inviting me to the Virtual Green Back seminar, ADB. So we, ThyssenKrupp Nucera Japan, is highly interested in Asian initiatives of net zero action with green molecules. So today, I'd like to introduce ThyssenKrupp Nucera's latest hydrogen initiatives. So my name is Namiko Murayama. I am a business development sales green hydrogen group and then working for the group manager in the Asia Pacific region. First, I'd like to start from the overview of our company. I suppose some of you will know our former company name, that is ThyssenKrupp Uhde Chlorine Engineers, Japan. Because we had a lot of experiences of chlorine electrolysis in Asia Pacific, which is electrolyzer to produce caustic soda and then chlorine for conventional chlorine industry. Currently, we changed our brand and the company name to ThyssenKrupp Nucera, Japan. And chlorine electrolysis is still based on our electrolysis business and then added new lineup, that is alkaline water electrolysis. So you see that's the name Nucera. It is consists from N plus UCE plus error. N mean the next and new, and then UCE is that's head letter of the former company name Uhde Chlorine Engineers. And then the error is would like to create a new error together for the decarbonization. So a new era means that's a new time for us, that industry, for transformation to new era, rethinking existing infrastructure, high-tech, innovation, and collaboration are important. We are ready for it and highly welcome further networking and business relationship in the Asia Pacific. So today, I got a request from ADB that focusing on Nucera Japan's activities. But first of all, in order to get your understanding, I'd like to show you our own global organizations. So you see this map, and there are 8 regions we have Nucera office. German is a headquarters, Italy, China, US, and Japan. The offices that we are working for both chloralkaline and water electrolysis business. And recently, we newly opened Australia, Saudi Arabia, and the Indian office for mainly working green hydrogen business by water electrolysis. So today, there are participants from India. So when you contact green hydrogen business, we'd like to introduce our colleague in Nucera, India. And the other Asian countries, Nucera Japan has responsibility to lead the project and then appreciated to hearing from you. So globally, 80 out of 750 employees are working in Japan. And then out of the 2 chlorine electrolysis was originally developed in Japan. And then it has many employees with experience in design, delivery, after service, etc. So they experience easily apply for our new solution for water electrolysis business and then supporting the Asian project. Currently, totally 3 gigawatts of alkaline water electrolysis project has been contracted, and it's corresponding to the 3 million tons of CO2 saving based on chloralkaline's 150 modules installation experiences. So in Japan, we started electrolysis business since 1973. And then last year, we celebrated 50th anniversary. The timing of that, ThyssenKrupp Nucera is officially listed in the Frankfurt stock market in order to expand our businesses, especially green hydrogen. Yeah, here is the organization, and then order intake and stakeholder I draw in this slide, and then you can see the order intake for both alkaline water electrolysis and chlorine electrolyzer of last financial year. So ADB business had been officially started from 2018, but already exceeded the number of compared with chloralkaline business and all of income from greenfield project. From this result, you can feel that how our fast green hydrogen industry is growing globally. So after IPO, that's some stakeholder joined to our stakeholder, but still the majority shareholder is ThyssenKrupp, and then Denora is also our stakeholder as well. So sometimes we get a question like this: what is your company's track record for water crisis business? For understanding our capability, the answer is written in this slide. So chloralkali chemistry describing the process. You see the splitting salt and then water into chlorine and caustic soda and then hydrogen. For water electrolysis, hydrogen production line from cathode is same with chloralkali hydrogen process, but this process line is positioned as a main product line. So feedstock is only water. So oxygen produced from anode side, and most of the project oxygen bends to that air. So oxygen line will be the byproduct line. Therefore, the answer is yes. We have plenty of experience. Hydrogen production by water electrolysis is not new for us. This, you see the right-hand side. This is a scale we named last year, our water electrolysis module. The name came from the speed and then scale. And then it is based on the problem quality, safety, reliability, and passion for innovate. The concept of scale is standardized module with a system capacity of 20 megawatts. It's corresponding to the 4,000 normal cubic hour hydrogen production, and equipped with 300 high efficiency cells into 20 megawatt module. So quality is confident that I explained in the previous slide that lifetime is more than 20 years. Design is certificated, and then we have global networking for after service and then maintenance as well. Especially in Asian countries, we are able to expand our business by taking advantage of our existing support system from Japan. So ThyssenKrupp new setup offers an efficient and then high scalable module concept to match market requirement. Loading single element, which is consisted by electrode and diaphragm to the scale, and then can easily interconnected and then scale up to match high demand up to gigawatt plant size. Okay, in this slide, I'd like to explain about the current project status. To the left, listed up the major project, which is in execution phase in 3 gigawatt backlog. The first one is a more than 2 gigawatt installation water electrolysis system to the NEOM. So signed one of the largest green hydrogen production in the world to install an exactly 2.2 gigawatt electrolyzer plant for air product in NEOM to produce green ammonia. Also, I'd like to share the latest finance status of our company. The total sales grew by around 35% to 200 million euro, of which the alkaline electrolysis contributed 120 million euro, 73% growth with the segment year on year, as electrolysis manufacturer started to deliver a massive order in had previously booked. Particularly this project in Saudi Arabia. The manufacturing is by Asian company that has a contract to further 20 megawatts. Contract to the manufacturing 110 electrolyzer module for NEOM project to 2.2 gigawatts installation. Then currently, first 20 megawatt electrolyzer developed by Neon Green Hydrogen Company and then has already been delivered, and with operation expected to start within the next month. Okay, let's go to the next project. This is a 200 megawatt installation, means that's 10 sets of 20 megawatts water test installation to the shell project. So engineer, procure, and then fabricate Shell's 20 megawatt hydrogen facility in the port of Rotterdam, which will produce green hydrogen for the industrial and transport sector. And then for Rotterdam, for which 6 modules of 10 has already been completed, and then we'll produce green hydrogen for the industrial and transport sector after that. The final project is more than 700 megawatt installation to the Sweden project. The signed one of the largest green hydrogen project in Europe to install 700 megawatt of electrolysis capacity to fuel and then integrated green steel plant in Sweden. We also started to convert reservation agreement for manufacturing from the green hydrogen green steel into firm orders with 100 million euro recognized in the Q1, and then another 6% of the contract volume due to be recorded in the result over the coming month. So within these 3 projects, the project scale is almost 3 gigawatts. We have something more, but in the next, if I have a chance next time, so I'd like to explain you more and more project. I think this kind of project will be the reference for the coming urgent project. So the categories of such ammonia, fertilizer, chemical industry, and the new steel manufacturing, kind of the hard to abate sector, all New Zealand's focus on utilization with large-scale applications. So large-scale hydrogen production is also economically valuable to hydrogen producers in terms of economic of scale. So to the right, you can see our module. The photo took at one of the module yard that we secure for mass production in Asia. For this project, that's produced module we shipped by the several containers to the production site. Okay, now, in this page, the key message is that evolution to the product-based business to most efficiently serve growing global demand. So far, I explained that chlor-alkali electrolyzer technology experience is based on water electrolysis business, but this concept is especially for water electrolysis we prepared. For conventional electrolysis project, we conducted full customization per project by client, so-called project business. For alkaline water electrolysis, we decided to deliver highly standardized 20 megawatt module in order to answer high market demand. It's called product business. So there are 3 key benefits. So standardization and then serious production to achieve gigawatt scale, ensuring quality, scale, and then cost optimization. And second, establish ThyssenKrupp Nucera as a key technology provider. Then third point, that reduction of complexity and risk by standardization. So some clients may prefer the classic project type contract that has been used in the past, but this is not in the best solution of either us or a client, as we must recognize quickly with economy. So finally, I'd like to introduce our service business model. Usually, we will explain it to the customer who are in the phase of sales contract. But alkaline water electrolysis is a plant the same as usual chemical plant. Therefore, from the initial phase, so needed to think about after service for operating stable with low risk. You can see the circulation of services based on our digital solutions. It consists from our data analysis and consultancy, predictive operation, maintenance, and performance optimization. The detail you can check later on by delivering a slide. So we ThyssenKrupp Newseller act as a digital industrial catalyst, connecting domain expertise and digital capabilities to engineer smarter product and services. Okay, then, as I have talked about, we provided full service solutions from the single source, such as element, manufacturing, separator, logistic, coating, leasing elements, spare parts supply, cell assembly, and installation levels. So it is sure that in order to provide and then integrated each components and services, support from a partner significantly important. As written here, Denora is one of our important partners, and looking for more and more companies involved as our team in the future. So this is the final slide I prepared for today's session, and then a message to the Asian development banks developing our member countries. With its water electrolysis technology to provide green hydrogen, we offer an innovative solution on an industrial scale green value chain and industrial fueled by clean energy, and major step towards climate neutrality. Then DCMs has a suitable location for hydrogen production by electrolysis using renewable energies. What is also needed an appropriate legal framework, financial model with international corporations, and then social acceptance by public. And the last message is balancing industrial development with a transition to clean energy is not easy, but together we can make it happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Moriyama. Thank you for that. Very interesting. One of the things that I will ask when everybody submits their presentations is that they put their commercial contact details so that people can actually reach out to them. Thank you. So our next speaker is Mr. Shohei Suzuki, who is the Chief of the Green Energy Division of Obayashi Corporation. Mr. Suzuki, are you ready?
Yes. Let me share my screen.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you for your introduction. Hello, everyone. It's a great honor to be given this opportunity. My name is Shohei Suzuki from Obayashi Corporation in Japan. I've engaged in hydrogen business for about 2 years now. Today, I'd like to introduce our hydrogen demonstration project subsidized by the Ministry of the Environment, Japan. Our project manager, Yukio Mashimo, is also joining the session. He and I will take your questions later. Let me briefly introduce our company. Obayashi Corporation was established in 1892. It's been operating for over 130 years. Headquartered in Tokyo, we have offices across Japan and all over the world. Our business strategies consist of 5 business domains. Domestic construction, which is our core business, overseas construction, real estate development, green energy, and new business initiatives. My field, which is hydrogen, belongs to green energy domain. Now let's move on. As I mentioned earlier, our project is subsidized by the Ministry of the Environment, Japan. The project started just a year ago. The first thing we did was to make up the international consortium among 3 parties from 3 countries. Obayashi is responsible for the entire project as a coordinator. Halcyon Power is a New Zealand company. In the project, they are responsible for producing green hydrogen from geothermal power generation. Our other partner, Fiji Gas, is one of the major energy companies in Fiji. They are providing us with a place to utilize green hydrogen from New Zealand. I'll explain a little bit more details about our project on the next slide. The generator that runs on hydrogen and diesel was manufactured in Japan. We delivered this generator from Japan to Fiji and installed it at the demonstration site. This generator supplies electricity to Fiji Gas's office in Lautoka. As you can see in the drawing, green hydrogen is produced at the plant in New Zealand and transported from New Zealand to Fiji by sea. At the end of the project, we will submit the report to the Ministry of the Environment, encompassing the result of the demonstration. On the next slide, I'll tell you about Halcyon. Halcyon Power was established in 2018 as a joint venture between Obayashi and the New Zealand Maori Trust. They started producing green hydrogen from electricity generated by geothermal energy in 2021. Currently, green hydrogen produced at the plant is mainly used for fuel cell vehicles such as Toyota Mirai. Why don't we watch the short film of Halcyon?
The transition to renewable energy is an urgent global issue, and hydrogen is a promising clean alternative to help displace carbon-based fuels. At Halcyon Power Limited, we believe hydrogen has a significant role to play in reducing greenhouse gas emissions in Aotearoa and the world, and we have now embarked on a journey to implement a hydrogen supply chain for the country. Halcyon's green hydrogen plant is a joint venture between New Zealand's Tuarapaki Trust and Japan's leading constructor, Obayashi Corporation. Bringing together technological expertise from New Zealand, Japan, and internationally, Halcyon has developed a 1.25 megawatt facility using electricity generated by Tuarapaki's geothermal power station. Because it uses electricity from renewable geothermal energy, Halcyon produces green hydrogen. Built by Hydrogenics Cummings in Belgium in cooperation with German company SMA, the plant was landed on site in New Zealand in June 2020 and commissioned in March 2021, despite several challenges resulting from COVID-19. The development is in line with Tuarapaki Trust's commitment to sustainable enterprise and Obayashi Corporation's Sustainability Vision 2050. Having completed post-commissioning testing, Halcyon is now ready for production, with the capability to make 180 tonnes of ISO-compliant fuel cell-grade hydrogen annually. Hydrogen that is 99.999% pure. Tuarapaki's expertise in renewable geothermal energy, along with its role as an environmental guardian and commitment to research and development of alternative renewable green energy, is a perfect fit with Obayashi's technology, global reach, and vision to expand its renewable energy business. While helping New Zealand decarbonise, Halcyon opens up the potential for the country to export hydrogen and the development of new intellectual property. As a fuel for heavy vehicles and cars needing to travel long distances, hydrogen allows the transport sector to take more cargo and passenger vehicles to travel further on one fill.
At Halcyon, we are collaborating with like-minded companies, both domestically and internationally, to build a green hydrogen network.
The future of green hydrogen is here.
Now you have the idea of Halcyon. Next, let's take a look at Fiji Gas. Fiji Gas is the largest LPG distributor in Fiji. It's been operating for over 60 years. Our demonstration will be carried out at their Lautoka LPG terminal, as you can see in the picture. Lautoka is a city located on the northwest coast of the island of Viti in Fiji, situated around 30 kilometers north of the international airport at Nandi. You may be wondering why Fiji Gas is our partner. How did they become our partner? One of Obayashi's team members stationed in Auckland, New Zealand, had a chance to meet with Fiji Gas's CEO back in early 2023. There he learned Fiji Gas had a strong interest in decarbonizing their business operations. Considering their business fields which handles gas, we concluded Fiji Gas would be the best possible partner for this project. In no time, 3 parties, including Halcyon, signed a consortium agreement to proceed with the project. As you could imagine, it's not an easy operation. On the next page, I'll fill you in with the current status and challenges we are facing. At this very moment, our generator is on the sea, heading for Fiji. It will arrive in Fiji in late March. On the other hand, hydrogen will be produced and shipped out from New Zealand to Fiji in April. Once hydrogen arrives at Fiji Gas's premises, we will run the generator on hydrogen, which will be the first case in Fiji. So the reason I said it's not an easy operation is that we have encountered several difficulties and challenges. I say the regulations are the ones we struggled with the most among others. Since this was the first case to export a hydrogen generator from Japan to Fiji, we had no idea who to contact and how to contact them. It was hard to figure out if there were even regulations or laws for the importation of a generator and hydrogen, as well as the use of hydrogen in Fiji. But the close cooperation with Fiji Gas eventually enabled us to find the relevant authorities to approach. We've been learning a lot of lessons in moving this project forward, but we figured that the most important thing is to frequently communicate with each other and fill in misunderstandings, if any. That will be all from me. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Suzuki. That was very interesting. We wish you all the best with that project in Fiji. Fiji, of course, being a very important developing member country within ADB and a bit of a hub for our activities in the Pacific. So my next request is for Mr. Muto Sato from Kawasaki. Mr. Sato, are you ready? Great, terrific. Okay, so Mr. Sato is the Sales and Marketing Executive for Business Development Department, Project Division of Hydrogen Strategy for Kawasaki Heavy Industries. So he is exactly the person we need to be speaking to. So, sir, the floor is yours.
Okay. Can you hear me, and then can you see our slides?
Yes, both we can do.
Okay, then. So let me start. Thank you very much for your introduction again, and then it is a great opportunity to introduce our international liquefied supply chain concept with my slide. So that firstly, that is I'd like to introduce that the Kawasaki Heavy Industries. that Kawasaki Heavy Industries is famous for the motorcycle. However, that is the KHI that originally started as a shipbuilding company, calling that Kawasaki Shipyard. And we have almost 130 years history. And now KHI has a wide range of technology and products, such as shipbuilding, rolling stock, aerospace energy system and plant engineering, motorcycle, and precision machinery and robot. Okay, so this slide is showing this is that our hydrogen that related product. So that is we cover is from production to that utilization. So that is let me that focus on that is storage and transportation. So for that is storage things, that is we have that liquefied hydrogen tanks, and then also for that transport, also that we have that world first that liquefied hydrogen carrier with that is liquefied hydrogen loading in that receiving area and then shipping area. I'd like to explain that more details later. So that this slide is showing that is the characters of that liquefied hydrogen. That is liquefied hydrogen is that extremely low temperature, minus 253 Celsius degrees, and 1/800th volume of H2 gas, and high purity and no toxic. KHI has over 40 years experience on that liquefied hydrogen tank for rocket base in Japan. So this slide is the concept of our international, supply chain. That from the energy security point of view, that liquefied hydrogen supply chain will be the best solution. We believe that this will realize that carbon neutrality by 2050, we believe. And as you know, the natural resources for energy in Japan is so limited, and we need to rely on that import from that overseas countries. By switching to the liquefied hydrogen, we have a variety of the production resources from solar power, wind power, hydric power, as well as oil and gas, and then brown coal. We have a variety of export countries without leaning to the specific country through this international liquefied hydrogen supply chain. Okay, this is showing that is our liquefied hydrogen supply chain concept. Let me show you that is a short video to introduce our concept.
Hydrogen that lights our cities. Streets bustling with hydrogen-powered vehicles. People using electricity and heat produced with hydrogen energy on a daily basis. This is the future we envision. Kawasaki has developed hydrogen-powered gas turbines and mobility that uses hydrogen as fuel. To utilize hydrogen as a next-generation form of energy, technology that enables the efficient, safe transport and storage of massive volumes of hydrogen is essential. The key to this is liquefied hydrogen. Kawasaki possesses technology that liquefies hydrogen by cryogenically cooling it to minus 250 degrees Celsius and reduces its volume by 1/800th, allowing for its efficient storage and transport. Equipped with 4 40,000 cubic meter tanks, this marine carrier can transport 160,000 cubic meters, a massive volume of liquefied hydrogen at once. Even over scorching seas, our high-performance insulation technology enables maintaining the temperature of each tank at minus 250 degrees Celsius and the transportation of hydrogen in massive volumes from where it is produced to where it is consumed. Utilizing renewable energy or other energy resources, hydrogen can be produced in various regions of the world. Kawasaki's technology and challenges will lead to a hydrogen-based society. Kawasaki Hydrogen Road.
Okay, let's move on to the next slide. This is for the pilot demonstration project. And then we achieved that is a world first liquefied hydrogen supply chain project very recently. And then we have identified that various technical issues and solutions, including necessary regulations for handling safely. This pilot demonstration project has been conducted by collaboration partners in Japan and Australia, with support from both government. And blue area is for Japan portion, and orange area is that for Australian portion. We have completed that demonstration for liquefied hydrogen supply chain from production to utilization successfully. Okay, let's move on to this. Okay, this slide is that our major achievement from that is a pilot demonstration project. So I'd like to show you another video.
On February 25th, 2022, the Suiso Frontier appeared on the horizon off the coast of Japan. The carrier had returned to Japan after loading liquefied hydrogen at a faraway port in Australia, crossing the scorching equator and traversing the globe. With this, the success of a global hydrogen supply chain demonstration pilot project was just within arm's reach. To create this hydrogen energy supply chain, HYSTRA, the CO2-free Hydrogen Energy Supply Chain Technology Research Association, was established on February 22, 2016, when 4 corporations with a wide variety of technologies joined forces. HYSTRA aims to establish a hydrogen-based world that commonly utilizes hydrogen in the same way as oil and natural gas. To achieve this, hydrogen must be produced from untapped natural resources that exist abundantly in resource-rich countries and then transported in mass volumes to Japan. Continued efforts to realize this grand vision have made significant progress. The world's first liquefied hydrogen marine carrier was launched on December 11, 2019. With the hopes it would open the door to a hydrogen-based world and spread the word Suiso, or hydrogen, around the globe, the carrier was christened the Suiso Frontier. In June 2020, construction of High Touch Kobe, a liquefied hydrogen receiving terminal in Japan, was completed. Equipped with a variety of state-of-the-art apparatus for loading and unloading liquefied hydrogen, this marked the start of a demonstration pilot project of unparalleled global scale. In January 2021, operations to produce hydrogen commenced in Australia. This proved that it was possible to stably produce high-grade hydrogen from brown coal, an abundantly available and untapped natural resource. Then, at last, on December 24, 2021, project officials watched as the Suiso Frontier, the world's first liquefied hydrogen marine carrier, departed the port of Kobe on its long journey to Australia. After completing its maiden voyage over the open seas, the carrier arrived in the port of Hastings in Victoria on January 20, 2022. Many officials were on hand to welcome it. Leading the world with hydrogen. To create when there's no precedent. This project, which also aims to herald new global criteria, has crossed the equator, linked faraway countries, and finally made possible the long-distance transport of mass volumes of hydrogen. After a round-trip voyage of around 18,000 kilometers, the Suiso Frontier has returned to High Touch Kobe. On February 28, 2022, the liquefied hydrogen produced in Australia has been unloaded into an on-land storage tank in Kobe. This moment literally marked the success of a 6-year-long technological demonstration pilot project and the completion of the world's first large-scale trans-global hydrogen supply chain. Hystra aims to accelerate initiatives to supply stable, mass volumes of hydrogen for the creation of a hydrogen-based world, and will continue to explore roads leading to new frontiers.
Next slide is just, our character of that, our Swiss frontier. And then in particular, that installed liquefied hydrogen tank is that 1,250 cubic meter capacity with vacuum insulated double shell structure. Okay. Next slide is that we also try to achieve that scaling up to realize that commercialization phase. So from that Swiss frontier, that is, we expect that and to expand 128 times rather than Swiss frontier, and also the onshore tanks from that we expect to expand from that 2,500 cubic meters to 50,000 cubic meters. Let me quickly show you that video as well. Also, that I'd like to introduce that our power generation project. That left on side, that is the installed gas turbine is 1 megawatt class for demonstration in Kobe, and the achieved world first operation with 100% hydrogen. Okay, and also right on side, that is we also preparing for that another demonstration program in Germany, that RWE. This is industrial level commercialization project with that is a 30 megawatt class gas turbine. So this way is showing that is our expanding that hydrogen fuel to mobility. That one is that marine propulsion system with hydrogen to be stored in liquefied hydrogen carrier ship in the future at commercial basis, of course. And then boil off that hydrogen gas will be used as a fuel. And KHI participate in that hydrogen aircraft development project led by Airbus France, and provides core technologies. The hydrogen aircraft entering service is expected after 2035. Motorcycle and four-wheel vehicle with hydrogen combustion engine development is ongoing as well. And finally, that KHI has been focusing on that hydrogen technologies and products across all over Kawasaki business unit and companies. And we commit to realize earliest hydrogen society and carbon neutrality by 2050 in cooperation with existing and new partners. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Sato. I wanted to thank you and KHI for being the pathfinders and driving forward. I know that there's a lot of criticism for using brown coal, and I'm not going to go into that, but I would say that the commitment by your organization is really heartening, and it's very well received. I personally very impressed by it. Thank you, sir. So the next speaker and the last speaker is Mr. Yujie Junya, the Group Manager of Carbon Neutral Group Energy Systems with Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. Mr. Ujui, did I say your name correctly, sir?
Yes, my name is just a little hard to pronounce. Thank you very much. Yes. My name is Ujie.
Ujie, yeah. Sorry, sir. I hope I've got it right. I'll hand over to you now, okay?
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much. Can you hear my voice clearly?
Very clearly.
Very good. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for your introduction. My name is Uji, Mitsubishi Heavy Industrial Carbon Neutral Group Manager, Senior Vice President of MHIAP. And today, thank you very much giving us this type of opportunity from ADB and the Japanese government. And let me explain just a bit about our energy transition briefing for today. Okay, this one almost the same as the other companies, and this one is the brief introduction of our company profile. And okay, let's have a look at the pictures on your left side. Yeah, we are dealing in gas turbines, compressors, aero engines, and we are providing one of the largest CO2 capture plant. And metal machinery also provides a hydrogen direct reduction technology. Chemical plants like ammonia synthesis plant, and bottom on your left side, transportation. Maybe I trust you also rode on our SkyTrain in Singapore Changi Airport, and waste to energy, turbochargers. Actually, Kobayashi-san IHI explained that IHI deal in large turbochargers, but in case of MHI, small one, we are providing. And aerospace and rocket engines and defense. Yeah. Yes, our company also, almost all the hydrogen, liquefied hydrogen technologies are coming from the rocket engines due to the rocket engines, the fuel is coming from the liquefied hydrogen. And then move on to next, MHI initiatives and the solutions for energy transition. Yeah, we have 3 pillars to realize mission net zero until year 2050 of the Japanese government, and our company try to achieve it until the year 2040. One of the 3 pillars is to decarbonize existing infrastructure. Next one is to build hydrogen solution ecosystem, and the third one is to build a CO2 solution ecosystem. Okay, let me explain just one by one basis. And yes, realizing decarbonized existing infrastructure and the hydrogen solution ecosystem. Yeah, this is the brief picture and CO2 zero power generation technology roadmap. Let me focus on just a bit about from the combustion technology point of view. This vertical line shows the base CO2 emission coming from the coal-fired power plant, and the horizontal line shows the calendar year. And there are lots of requests available, I trust, in Asia and the other countries to reduce the CO2. Then our company recommends to adapt the high efficiency natural gas fired gas turbine. Then if you kind of have a look at the number 1, reduce CO2 center bottom of this chart. Yes, once we adapt the high efficiency gas turbine combined cycle, then CO2 can be reduced down to 65% in comparison with the coal-fired power plant. But we consider that there are lots of countries available or would like to still use the coal-fired power plant. Then we recommend to adapt ammonia or otherwise biomass coal firing. Then CO2 will be reduced to some amount, and also that will be utilized for the CO2 capture as well. Then if you can see the number 2.2, yes, we recommend to adapt the CO2 capture system, bottom of gas turbine combined cycle, as well as the coal-fired power plant. And our ultimate goal is to utilize the hydrogen gas turbine or otherwise ammonia gas turbine development with using a clean hydrogen or otherwise a clean ammonia. Yes. And okay, let me skip. Yeah, this is just a bit detail about the timeline of development for hydrogen ammonia power generation system. This slide wants to mention that to validate and begin commercializing carbon-free power generation using hydrogen and ammonia, until the year of 2025. Both not only a hydrogen, but the ammonia gas turbine and the boiler as well. And in order to verify, and we want to hold the confidence whether our equipment is in a sound condition, we establish an integrated validation of hydrogen production, storage, and utilization began at our Takasago Machinery Works in the year of 2023. Takasago is western side of Japan. Yes. And inside our Takasago Machinery Works, we have three big pictures. One is the hydrogen utilization. The other one is the hydrogen production. Third one is the hydrogen storage. And inside of the hydrogen utilization, left side up, yes, we equip the smaller size gas turbine. H25 is around 40 megawatt output gas turbine. And right side, M501 Jack is one of the high-end machine of the world. Heat efficiency is around 64%, and output would be around 600 megawatt. In order to supply and verify the hydrogen and ammonia combustion system, we install or buy our own of the hydrogen production equipment as well. One is the alkaline water electrolysis. It's 5.1 megawatt. And now under installation of the SOEC. SOEC stands for solid oxide electrolysis cell. And also in the year 2026, we are going to establish the technology of the turquoise hydrogen as well, in order to supply the hydrogen from inside our factory to our gas turbine. And this is just kind of a propaganda. We have another, test facility, validation facility in Nagasaki, western edge of Japan. Yes, inside our Nagasaki Carbon Neutral Park, we have a test facility of the on the left side up, carbon capture storage system, and biomass technology development for making a SAF, sustainable aviation fuel. And the right side, hydrogen production technology development, as I mentioned, the SOEC. And this page bottom, hydrogen production technology development, turquoise hydrogen as well. And right side, ammonia burner development, combustion test furnace for the marine and gas engines. Let me briefly explain about what is the turquoise hydrogen and what is the SOEC. Turquoise hydrogen is to produce hydrogen by methane pyrolysis with a catalyst, recover carbon as a solid, a local supply of carbon-free hydrogen at a scale with utilizing the existing LNG infrastructure. This is the main point. Means in case of Japan, Korea, and the other Asian countries can utilize the current LNG infrastructure, and we just equip the turquoise hydrogen equipment, then we can produce the hydrogen from it. And SOEC, yes, SOEC produces hydrogen using steam and electricity, able to apply cell technology by reversing SOFC, solid oxide fuel cell reaction. The feature of SOEC is very high efficiency, more than 90%. So if we want to make, the large scale of a hydrogen producer, SOEC would be one of the best solutions we trust. Yes, this one, it goes without saying that there are value chain is available. Okay, let me skip this type of explanation. And this one is the brief explanation of what MHI is going on for the hydrogen and ammonia power generation projects. Yes, center of this map indicates the Asian projects, like on your left side, blue colored letters, Meranti Power, 71F 340 megawatt means, this one is a hydrogen-ready gas turbine. And Kepler Infrastructure, Semcorp Industries, yes, we just received the order from them for the hydrogen-ready gas turbine. Means just exchange combustor, means combustion chamber, they can combust the hydrogen up to 100%. Yes. And below that one, yes, currently EMA, Electricity Market Authority, and MPA stands for Marine Port Authority, is issued a request for proposal for the ammonia bunkering and power generation. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, lots of things are now going on in the world. And yeah, let me add on the explanation of the realizing CO2 solution X system from now on. Yes, CCUS value chain also has CO2 capture available, CO2 liquefaction system shall be available, or transportation is required, compressor, and utilization is required as well. This one is just one example how we're gonna reduce the CO2 from the gas turbine combined cycle. Or yeah, brief picture. On your left side, it shows the gas turbine combined cycle. There is a picture of the gas turbine, and next to the gas turbine, there's a HRC, stands for heat recovery steam generator, and a steam turbine. After this combined cycle system, we just add the CO2 capture. Then we can achieve over 90% of reduction of the CO2 as long as we adopt this type of system. And then, yes, in order to build up the CCUS ecosystem, yes, global initiative in CO2 capture. On your left side bottom, yes, around more than 70% of the world market share of CO2 capture we have, and we've been providing lots of, the CO2 capture system all over the world, especially from the exhaust gas basis. Even if you look at the on your right side, there are several actual projects are going on and has been already delivered of the CO2 system into Asia. And yeah, this one is just example of Petra Nova project in Texas. This is the world's largest post-combustion carbon capture plant. Yes, we did the Frutanki project in Texas, US. And yeah, the feature of this, the plant is using the exhaust gas of the coal-fired plant. And the size of the coal-fired power plant is 240 megawatt. CO2 coming out about 5,000 million tons per day. Very huge CO2 capture plant. And also this has been operating since 2016. Means, the main point is, yes, you can immediately adapt and utilize this type of technology from today. Yes, this is all from me. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Uege. That was fantastic. I love the fact that you are showing what you're doing and demonstrating that. And I appreciate the support you had in hosting some of my colleagues on a mission recently in Japan. Yeah,
thank you for coming to our Takahashi Works.
So we are on time, and what I would ask is everybody who spoke, can you turn on your cameras, because we have a few questions. And I'll start with the question from Samanya Sharma from the Council on Energy, Environment and Water, CEW in India. As Mr. Suzuki mentioned, they face several challenges in transportation process from New Zealand to Fiji. Could the panel members please elaborate more on the experienced and perceived supply chain risks related to hydrogen transportation and trade routes? I think perhaps we might have a discussion about not just the storage, but some of the skilling issues and some of the safety issues. And I'd be interested. So perhaps Mr. Suzuki, you might want to be the first person to answer, and then we can follow on from some of the colleagues.
Me?
Oh, that's a good. We have two Mr. Suzukis, don't we?
Yeah. I'm wondering which Suzuki.
Okay, so perhaps we start with Mr. Shohei Suzuki from Obayashi, and then we follow with Tatsunari Suzuki from Alchemist Materials. Please, Mr. Shohei.
Yeah, our project manager will be speaking.
Yes, so our project, a very small amount of hydrogen is transported from New Zealand to Fiji in a gas form. And that is just a demonstration, and quite frankly, it's not commercially feasible. So important thing is how we can cost effectively deliver the hydrogen, particularly in export. And as Mr. Sato at KHI introduced, KHI has been developing the liquefied hydrogen technology, and that is, and those kind of technology has to be developed.
That's a very good point, because I think there was some criticism about things not being commercial, but we also have to balance that against learning and understanding on what directions they're going to come. And unless we've done these things and identify what the risks are, then, it becomes an issue. Mr. Suzuki from Alchemist, you have a very different model. Your model is looking at a distributed energy model and making use of a different set of circumstances. When you communicate with your customers, do you find that they're concerned about safety? And I mean, the commentary about hydrogen is, people say that it's explosive, and so's petrol, so's diesel. I mean, you put diesel with nitropil and it blows up. So, I mean, I think we need to be a little bit realistic and professional about some of these comments. But how are you finding people's general acceptance of your solution?
Yeah, especially people in the United States are afraid of the hydrogen. Yeah, because of the past incident. But generally, the hydrogen is a pretty safe material. Yeah, lightest element on the Earth. So yeah, as long as you don't have the ceiling at the top, the hydrogen goes to the air pretty quickly.
And you'll see, I mean, there's a great deal of information on the internet about hydrogen storage tanks just flaring off in the event of bushfires and stuff like that. So, I mean, I think the safety aspect of hydrogen is overblown. What I'm more concerned about, and what I see in some of our work in developing member countries, is the ability of local supply chains to do industrial processes safely. So there is this perception that hydrogen's risky, but actually it's not the risk of hydrogen, it's the level of skill and capability in local areas. And perhaps I could ask one of our colleagues from Kawasaki or ThyssenKrupp or MHI to talk a little bit about the challenges that they see in terms of skilling up their people that they work with locally. Who would like to maybe suggest an answer? Dr. Moriyama, maybe you might want to talk about that.
Yes, thank you, Steve. So yes, I mentioned about scalable economy based on that large-scale water electrolysis. So I think for realizing the real hydrogen economy, maybe several lot of the diverse application solution is required. And then for our company, we are so far working for the industrial scale of electrolyzer business. So therefore, would like to expand that business for water electrolysis in order to produce green hydrogen. And then, for toward 2050, it is sure that the most of the country, the developing the mountain is way of the developing the mountain, climbing the mountain is different in each country, each region. But toward 2050, the most of them would like to achieve that net zero. So therefore, green molecules is exactly required in the future. So therefore, in order to achieve the net zero using green molecules, that's financial model, and then the governmental support, the scheme, everything is required. And then especially for industrial utilization, cost is mandatory. We have to think about. So just following that's, let's say, carbon neutrality has no incentives. So we have to together thinking about how to reduce the cost, how to beneficially using that's a green molecule. And so one of the solutions from the water electrolysis company is the scaling up. That's the things I want to share you.
I think you're right, and we look at if you look at creating a completely new supply chain, we've been using ammonia for a long time. We've been transporting ammonia for a long time. That's already been done, right? But what we're talking about is building a new supply chain against a petrochemical industry, which is heavily subsidized. I noticed that JAXA, which is the space agency in Japan, is mentioned a couple of times. What I'd be really interested to hear is how the learning from JAXA helped accelerate Japan's engagement in a green hydrogen society. Perhaps I might put that back to KHI or MHI.
Yeah, thank you for questioning those kind of things. Yeah, we just, succeed to launch the A3 rocket this month. And yeah, not only our, thank you very much. Not only our company, of course, we have a consortium inside of Japanese companies, and the KHI and HI also, kindly, joined in that, the project. And the other electronic company like Mitsubishi Electronic or something like that. Then, due to the big support from the Japanese government and subsidy for those kind of things, we managed to succeed it. Means, from the initial stage, it's rather tough for, grow up those kind of technology from by our own. Therefore, from Japanese government, ADB, so we beg you to kindly, continue to give us those kind of subsidy and, fund from the initial stage.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of support that's required, and it's not just like giving you money, it's also helping you structure risk and how you do the deals in developing member countries. Mr. Sato, would you like to say anything, or do you want me to move on to the next question?
Yes, I'd like to add some clarification about that questions. So that in terms of that is the challenge to that achieve that is a safety and then reliability of that hydrogen. That is our explanation through of that is a demonstration project. I think it's giving that is the most of the answer because that we achieved that is safety that is demonstration and including that is regulatory that issues. So we saw this that is most of the issues through that is our demonstration project for that liquefaction, storage, and transportation. So in particular, the transportation by that carrier ship that we also that certify that is the international standard that is a standard for that ship building as well. And then in terms of that is the JAXA support, that is a big same as that MHI, that we have the lots of that activities jointly with that is the JAXA, either that is a rocket technology and also that other energy solution that businesses. Then so that is with support from that JAXA for the capability and the capacity that is we just proceeding with that our technology development.
Yeah, I think the skills that you get from working with JAXA are very heavily transportable, and I think that gives you a significant advantage. I appreciate Samanya Sharma's question because I think it's a very good question for a lot of our DMCs. They want to understand what's going on. I'm going to ask a question from my colleague Dina, who's at the ADB Institute in Japan. And she's talking about countries follow various hydrogen standards. Would it be better for international trade to harmonize standards? Is that possible at all? I'll give an example. Some countries have different carbon intensity for what they call green hydrogen and what they don't. And I'm going to ask this question for Ms. Suda, because that's obviously going to have an implication on your business, right? Because you're talking about something which is innovative, and then you might have a situation where you want to sell your technology to a particular country, and the carbon intensity, the big selling point for you is you have very low carbon intensity. How have you been facing that in your work? Not from the big make hydrogen and ship it, but actually making hydrogen close to where it's being used.
Thanks, Yi. Well, actually, so far we haven't been facing the difficulty with the carbon intensity, but as Miss Diana just mentioned that it's carbon intensity. It depends on how with which country that we should talk, and now we are thinking if you want to make it as a credit, we have to consider the the carbon intensity, but we are now trying to seek the carbon offsetting program so that we actually count like how much the CO2 could be reduced instead of to making it as a credit, so that dealing the carbons as an asset, not as a credit. So this is the new solution that we are now seeking.
That's very interesting, because you sort of take it from the issue that we have to have a commodity which has standard parameters so it can be traded, to a larger thing from saying it's not just the molecule, but it's also the carbon potential and and how that works. That's very interesting. That's a very good answer to that question. I have another question for Ujue-san from my colleague Ayato Kurakawa. Do you see growing demand for CO2 captured from CCS, and what are some of the main uses? I'd be interested to hear that as well.
Yes. That's a very good question for us. Actually, that we are also trying to expand the technology of the CO2 capture. But the well for the CO2 capture, CO2, it will be limited. Therefore, storage volume also we leave it limited. Therefore, from now, maybe 10, 20 years means our utilization technology for the CO2 is not yet matured. During those the 10, 20 years, we have to try to grow up the technology to use the CO2, means utilization, like the large volume utilization, such as e-methane or e-methanol, or the absorption of the cement or something like that. Means that we have to consume the large volume of the CO2 with using the utilization technology. But technologies cannot jump up on the spot. Therefore, during those kind of transition period, we have to use the CO2 capture technology, I think. Is my point is okay?
No, it's an excellent point, because it leads on to something else that I wanted to get across in this webinar, which is that Pathfinder projects or lighthouse projects, the likes of which KHI and ThyssenKrupp and MHI are doing and Obayashi are doing, are those very large projects which people say, well, that's a very big risk and it's a very bold risk and we're not sure where the market is. What they do, though, is they create space, and into that space, smaller, more agile companies like Tsubame and Alchemist can come in and actually have a space, because you've got some demand. So you may have a local business that says, well, I can use that to offset my process. And then when there's another business that's using it, it means that the smaller enterprises can come in behind. So this large scale driving of investment is actually a really important part, not only of economic development, but of decarbonization. And I think that story, Japan has a very, very good story in that respect, because it's in a position to be able to make those changes. Communicating that with ADB's developing member countries and saying, and some countries get it, like India is crazy about it. I've been in India 6 times in the last 9 months, and India's
yeah,
just,
thank you very much summarizing instead of me.
yeah, it's really going very, very, very positively. Other countries, like for instance, Vietnam is catching up, and Vietnam's being very, is doing all the work diligently. I'm seeing more and more of this in our work. We started a hydrogen desk in September last year, and it's gone from strength to strength. And in fact, this webinar is the first webinar we've done with a national agency. So we thank Japan for that. We thank MOEJ for doing that as well. We have a few more minutes left. I'm going to turn this on its head a little bit. I'm wondering if any of our panelists have any questions they'd like to ask each other, or of ADB, or maybe even of the audience. Go on, Mr. Suzuki. I can see a question forming in your head, sir.
Yeah, I have a question, actually.
Sure.
To ADB.
Sure.
Okay, so we are a small startup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then the startup always struggle with funding.
Mm-hmm.
So does ADB have any function to help those kind of the startups?
We do. We have a division called Ventures, but they're quite small, and they are predominantly looking at technologies where they might, for instance, lend $200,000 as a grant to start off for high growth, high impact businesses. They're pretty tough on how they choose those, and then they can lend, through the first seed and perhaps a few of those areas. I suspect you're probably bigger than that at the moment. And if I looked at your presentation, my view is your business would fit very well inside a program of developing eco-industrial parks in some of our countries, so that the municipalities can create their own, for instance, much like a shopping center. When you develop a shopping center, you need a supermarket and a cinema, and then all the other small shops come in. Well, if the municipalities were to build a waste eco-industrial park, then they can put some of the activities in there. And this is very similar to what's been done in Japan on the hydrogen side, where you've co-located activities and off-takes. Then you don't lend money to the government through your business would rent space from the government, and then you would be able to get financing from banks in particular countries. And we have a program which is called financial intermediation, where we lend money to banks on a particular range of activities. It might be, climate change, it might be environmental activities, whatever. And so then we can look at supporting finance in those industries. So I think I wanted to have a chat to you after this, because I think we can support you on some of your activities, and just maybe even help you to get a pilot up. And I would be saying exactly the same for Subame. I think Subame is a very interesting enterprise. So I thank MOEJ for giving us two very hot startups, or maybe not startups, but businesses that could make a big difference on that smaller scale, not on the lighthouse scale, but on the follow-up scale. And I see that both of your businesses have significant impacts environmentally, and I would imagine socially as well. So the short answer is, yeah, we're very interested to talk to you some more. So
great. So
good.
whom should I talk to?
You can talk to me. I'll give you a call. I'll give you a call next week. I'm happy to have a chat.
I will definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So perhaps we have any other questions from the audience, or from anyone else. We've answered Samanya's question. We have answered yes, and Ayato has very kindly put the link in for ADB Ventures in the Q&A session, a Q&A chat, if you can see that. So if we have no more questions, which is a bit of a pity really, because I was hoping we'd get a bit more engagement, this presentation will be loaded up online on ADB's Green Hydrogen portal, and it will be shared with the International Solar Alliance's Green Hydrogen Innovation Centre. I believe we have someone from that organisation in the audience already. We will be asking for your presentation, so if there's anything that's commercially sensitive, please remove it, because that will be released publicly. But I think very interesting today to see how Japan has made a whole of government, whole of industry approach to committing to a green hydrogen society, and how linkages for things like JAXA or, the smaller enterprises or off-taking or the use of technology parks are all part of that process to build a thriving ecosystem. And, we're not thriving yet, but we're pushing in the direction for it. And I know that there's been a lot of criticism for these large projects making hydrogen in one country and shipping it, but really it's about demonstrating and learning the boundaries. And I think our colleagues from Obayashi very clearly explained that this is an investment in the future of not only Japan's industry, but in the health of the planet. So I think that's a very, very good example of what's going on. So on that note, I think we might be finishing a little bit early, which is very efficient. Anyone else would like to raise or say anything else or contribute anything else before we shut down? Well, I would like one thing. I would really like to do this session again in 6 months. And I would really like to be able to report on the progress and support of the companies that have presented today and their journey forward. And really looking forward to seeing how Japan's making that transition to a green hydrogen society. And I'm also looking forward to seeing how it shares it with the rest of ADB's developing member countries. So on that note, I'd like to thank everybody for their presentation. I'd like to thank our colleagues who supported the MOEJ in putting this together. And I'll call out to Masai-san for your help. I know that you've spoken to all of us, and we very much appreciate your coordination. So on that note, I think we'll call it quits, and we'll see you again in 6 months, I hope. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.